And as it turns out, going backwards, the expert witness that literally appeared in my case was working for a breakfast cereal company at that time. Delving down into that and the internal documents and the internal emails from the cereal industry here in Australia and New Zealand actually had in 2014 that cereal sales were down because of the concepts of low carb paleo, and these 7 people are to be targeted. And I was the only Australian doctor on that list. Wow. So this is billion-dollar industries that have internal emails with my name on it saying we're to be targeted. And as it turns out, they were in a paid relationship with the Dietitians Association here in Australia to promote the benefits of sugar and cereal to the population. And that same group, so they only paid one group. We've got the receipt for it. They only paid one group so the dietitians here in Australia, they're the ones that were involved in writing the dietary guidelines for the last 30 years, preparing the material, but they were being paid to promote the benefits of sugar and cereal. And as it turned out, dietitians on the 3 occasions were the ones that were reporting me to APRA, to the medical board. So we've got the paper trail and the money trail backwards from the food industry losing money back to paying dietitians. And we've got the expert witness who was working for the cereal industry at the time, who was the same person who has actually been writing the textbooks for the dietitians along a vegan, vegetarian, pro-carbohydrate, anti-meat agenda. So I can't make this stuff up, because if I'm lying, then I'm liable. But 6 weeks after I submitted that documentation, there was a formal separation of the processed food industry from the Dietitians Association here in Australia. So I don't think I'm the only one there, but I think that might have been a final catalyst to say, actually, you're now caught out. We've actually got the specific financial ties between the processed food industry and the people developing the dietary guidelines, which are mimicked around the world. And I don't think for 1 minute this is unique in Australia. We just got the documents that are promoting the benefits of sugar and cereal to the wider population, which is just, as it turns out, biochemically, it's a total disaster. And now we know, physiologically, environmentally, and humankind is getting fatter and sicker. I can remember there was a young guy, he would have been in his 40s, who's coming along to me with, numb feet, no sensation, peripheral neuropathy, already, losing his mind, his bit of early dementia, had a heart attack and a stroke, in his early 40s. And I can still remember his 3-year-old daughter on the floor drawing some artwork whilst he's in the outpatients department, and his wife was there, and because this is a crisis. I said, mate, you've got it. So he got both barrels. Really the big talk, and because everything I was saying was going against every other doctor that was getting in the hospital, all of the nutritional advice, his GP advice. And I said to him, if you want to see your daughter, I was really moved by it. I said, if you want to see your daughter, you're going to have to listen to me. I know there's all this other stuff going on, but just please listen to me. Anyway, he came back 2 weeks later because we were just seeing everything in follow-up. His wife wasn't with him. His daughter wasn't with him. And he said, look, I've listened to you, Doc. I believe you. My wife thinks you're really arrogant, and so she wouldn't come back. But I've been doing what you said for 2 weeks, and my blood sugars are the best I've been controlled in years. My GP says that I'm crazy. The other specialist teams, she said, are ready to disown me. But I'm going to stick with you because I haven't seen this control ever. Right. And that's in 2 weeks. And by the way, his feet look better, just in literally 2 weeks. And I got into trouble. One of the times I was reported to the medical board is because I'd inappropriately reversed someone's diabetes on national TV. But we did. We got him off. His diabetes was essentially put into remission, and he came off 6 other medications, and literally just over a period of several weeks. And you can actually do that I think you can do that within a week. But I think arguably you can do it in 1 weekend. I've reversed someone's diabetes in 1 weekend with a bit of education, supervision, one of those glucose monitors on his arm. So he had instant feedback about what's going on. And so those things just should become part of preventative. If you get diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, you should be given the option of low carb. You don't have to do it. You're given the option, the education. And you should have a CGM placed on your arm. And within 2 weeks, people will work out, because they last for 2 weeks. Within 2 weeks, you'll actually have it completely under control. There's over 100 papers on this now showing the benefits of low carb in diabetes outcome. And that's the one where we're pushing because it's the most obvious. It's the one you can see an instantaneous result, turn around within days. Doing low carb and keto has benefits for metabolic health, and people will feel better, and you can actually prove it biochemically. But diabetes control you get a daily measure or an hourly or a minute by minute measure, and you can just see that straight away. And I think it's indefensible that the medical profession are not prescribing low carb or lowering carbohydrate in diabetes management. And I'm not alone in that statement. Now, there's again, Tim Noakes, I think, was the first person who put it out. So it is now, you should, we're on the attack now. If you're a doctor and you're not recommending low carb, I now think you're negligent.
I personally fell into a plant-based diet for 12 years and I struggled with depression and an eating disorder. And out of desperation to be a decent mom to my children, I went meat only. And that saved my life. And that saved me from mental health, from taking antidepressants. And I had none of the diabetes issues, but it saved my mental health. And then I got upset because the psychologist said I forever needed to take medication. And as I did the research and I see how nutritious meat is, I realized how wrong a lot of the dietetics recommendation is. So how do we make sure we have enough resources with meat and we can take care of our families and our own health? Because obviously mainstream or corporate media and pharma and food will not take care of our health.
I think if you eat tip to tail, that you eat the
Yes,
whole
yes.
animal and you eat and you understand in a respectful fashion. Now, respect means that respect for the way it's farmed, respect for the way looking after the land, respect for the animal. Now, so I'm not into factory farming, okay? So, and we've got plenty of land to actually farm respectfully. The grasslands, like arable land's only 3 or 4% of the land mass of the world, whereas 25% is grasslands, which is actually farmable. Here in Australia, we actually have major bushfires. When if we actually put some cattle running through that, it'll actually cut the fire risk down. And we just need to change the way we think about it. So if you eat an animal, particularly tip to tail, and you're eating the organ meats as well, you will have a complete nutritional intake. And I'm all for eating to our nutritional requirements, not to our energy requirements. There's a truckload of energy out there. So I mean, the classic is people eat a pizza. It's got all this stuff on top of it. Looks great, tastes great, but it's actually nutritionally incomplete. So at the end of it, you're still hungry. So you eat another pizza.
Right.
You're not hungry for more energy. You're hungry for nutrients. And anybody who's been to a Brazilian restaurant where it's meat only, literally you can't eat anymore. And so that's because you've eaten your protein requirements, of which it's completely satiating. We talk about aid work into Africa, where the nut analogues are being pushed as a saviour for childhood malnutrition. The highly processed seed oil foods, which are just being charitably thrown at the Africans, at the impoverished African nations who are in starvation. And that's going to make them sicker. And that's not actually giving them self-reliance on their own food systems. It's actually just literally shoving food into the system. When I see people who have the information, who are literally throwing down packets of chips and soft drink and smoking and just slothful, then I get frustrated when you have the opportunity for better health. But then they're actually got also their problem, to be in their defense, is that they've been advertised to, they've been brainwashed that what they can do is actually okay. And if things get into trouble, then they'll just go along to the doctor and get a medication to sort it all out.